Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is help. Let's take a look at some of the definitions of this verb. The first way we use the verb help is to mean to make it easier for someone to do something by offering one's services or resources. If you live with your family or with friends, this is probably a verb that you actually do on a regular basis, right? Perhaps helping someone to carry something or helping someone else clean up, right? So many possibilities. A second way we use the verb help is to mean to save or rescue. So this is a little different than the first definition in that this is an emergency where someone might be injured or perhaps their life is in danger. And then this verb takes on this meaning of saving or rescuing. A third way we use the verb help is to serve someone with food or drink. It's really common when you're at an event that someone, particularly the host or hostess of the event, says, help yourself to food or drink. That means take whatever you want to eat or drink. Another way that sometimes we use help is with this reflexive, right? Helping oneself, or he helped himself, she helped herself. And sometimes when that's being used, it means that someone is taking something without permission, right? So a thief broke in and helped himself to all the electronics. It means he stole all the electronics. The last way we're going to look at using help is to mean to be unable to avoid an action. So with this particular usage, you're going to see can't help and then an activity or couldn't help in an activity. So I have the example here, someone's perhaps saying, oh, I can't stop laughing. So I'm unable to avoid, I'm unable to make myself stop this particular action. Help is a regular verb. To make the progressive tense, all we need to do is add ing to make helping. The past tense and participle forms of this verb are made by adding ed. And because this verb ends with a p or a p sound, the ed is going to make a t sound. Helped, helped. Let's take a look now at some phrasal verbs that use the verb help. The first one that you might hear is to help along, and it means to make something happen more quickly or more easily. Let's take a look at this definition in a sentence. Sand dunes move a few different ways. All of them helped along by wind. So as you look at this example, you might be wondering, what's a sand dune? So if you look down here at the bottom of the screen, I've included a picture, right? So kind of these hills, sometimes it might seem mountainous, just these mounds, I guess in other words, are formed of sand. This is a sand dune. So what this is saying is their shape is moved in a few different ways, but they're all moved more quickly or moved more easily due to the wind. Another phrasal verb that you might hear is to help someone out. It means to give assistance. So it could be physically doing something for someone, but this could also be giving someone money to help them out in a particular situation. Let's take a look at this phrasal verb in an example sentence. She really helped him out after his mom passed away. Here we don't know what type of help this is, and that's okay. The thing I'd like to point out here is that we are going to separate help and out, and what comes between it will be an object. Who received the action? So in this case, it's some man because we have the object pronoun him. The last phrasal verb we're going to look at is help with. It means to give assistance. So just like help out, but help out again tends to include money. Help with, not quite as commonly. So let's look at an example sentence. Please help me with this puzzle. I can't seem to figure out what piece goes with the other one. I need a new set of eyes. Let's continue practicing using help in a few different verb tenses. Today, we'll look at past progressive, simple present, and future perfect. Let's start with past progressive. When we use this verb tense, generally what we're describing is an action that was in progress. And frequently in this verb tense, you're going to see part of the sentence in past progressive, and that action is going to get interrupted by another action. The interrupting action will be in simple past tense. To make past progressive, we're going to use the past tense form of be. That's was or were, and then we'll use the ing form of a verb. Let's make an affirmative or positive sentence in the past progressive. He was helping his father cut down a tree when the tree fell on the house. So there you can see was helping was the past progressive. It got interrupted by the action of falling. So we have the past tense here of fall, fell. To make negative past progressive, all we need to do is add not after our be verb. So we'll have wasn't and then the ing form of the verb, or weren't and then the ing form of the verb. Let's take a look at an example. The staff members weren't helping anyone else when I asked a few questions. If I want to make a yes or no question in the past progressive, I'm going to start with my past form of be, then I'll have my subject, and then the ing form of the verb. Were they helping the new students? Next, let's take a look at simple present. We use this verb tense to talk about habits and routines. We also use it for facts and our present feelings as well. The thing to note about simple present is that the affirmative structure is going to change just a bit depending on what our subject is. If our subject is I, you, we, or they, then we just use the base verb. But if our subject is he, she, or it, we're going to need to add an S to help. Let's look at an example sentence. I help my neighbor with his trash cans each week. If the subject had been she, so I wanted to describe one of my female neighbors, right? I would have said, she helps her neighbor. That would be the difference. If I want to make a negative sentence in the simple present, I'm going to use do not in the base verb or does not in the base verb. You might hear native speakers use the contraction, don't or doesn't. Let's take a look at an example. She doesn't help make breakfast very often. If I want to make a yes or no question in the simple present, I'm going to start with do or does, then I'll have my subject, and then the base verb. Let's take a look. Does he help with cleaning the house? Next, let's take a look at future perfect. To make this verb tense, we're going to use will, have, and then the participle form of the verb. This is going to be true no matter what our subject is. Let's look at an example. This new cancer test will have helped save many lives by the end of the year. If I want to make future perfect negative, I just need to add not after will. Many times you'll hear native speakers use the contraction won't. Here's an example. The latest incident won't have helped matters. Finally, if I want to make a yes or no question in the future perfect, I'm going to start with will, then I'll have my subject, then have, and then the participle. Here's an example. Will their training have helped them prepare? Next, let's take a look at some words that are related to our verb help. The first has the exact same spelling and the exact same pronunciation. It's just the noun form of this word. As a noun, help means the action of helping someone do something. Another word that has a similar meaning is assistance. Let's look at a noun form of help in a sentence. Can you give me some help? Help can also be an exclamation. Right? So when someone says this, they are urging people to help them. They want assistance immediately. Right? So let's look at an example. I will note many times this word is going to be yelled or someone will shout it. Okay? So you might hear something like this. Help, help, the child is drowning. The next related word we're going to look at is helper. It is a person who helps someone else. Let's take a look at an example. There were so many willing helpers after the derecho. So there was this horrible weather event in the Midwest in the United States about 3.5 weeks ago. And while it was devastating and many people lost their homes, it has been really exciting to see how many other people have made an effort to provide assistance. How many people have been helpers to those who lost everything. The next word we're going to look at is helpful. It's an adjective, and it means giving or ready to give help. It can also mean useful. Let's look at this word in a sentence. Thanks for the helpful suggestions. Here, I think the word useful would be also would have the same meaning in that particular sentence. I could say your suggestions were useful. They were helpful. Of course, there's an opposite adjective, right? And that is going to be unhelpful. You might recognize the prefix UN. When you see those letters at the beginning of a word in English, many times it means not, and then the rest of the word. And that is our literal definition. Unhelpful means not helpful, so not useful, not ready to give help, or just be giving in general. So let's look at unhelpful in a sentence. The staff at that store are rather unhelpful. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great day.